Hi, I'm Candice Gorday, and this is Fitness and Harmony. Today we're going to do a little blend of yoga and Pilates to strengthen the core, to light up what Pilates calls the powerhouse, the bands of muscles that interweave to uplift and hold not only the internal viscera, but the spine. So let's warm up. Inhale and stretch the arms up and overhead. Exhale and stretch up and over. Inhale through your nose as you come up. Blow out through your mouth as you go over. Keep going. Keep going. So now begin to open up the ribs. This may be the first breath you've taken in a couple of days, right? Now, when I blend yoga and Pilates together, the whole exercise session takes a lighthearted mood, doesn't it? It feels a little bit more, well, less meditative and a little bit more, I don't know, dance. So I want you to let the rhythm get in. All right, hold to one side and then make big circles with this top arm. We're going to do a little bit of a basic class today to weave together the elements of yoga, which have elements of meditation, relaxation, and opening up spaces in all of the body spaces. Take the arm forward and let it hang down. Turn your head to look down. And then lift the arm and extend the arm back behind you and twist the chest of the head to look up. Push off this floor and come up over to the other side. Then circle the top arm when you get there. And then the elements of Pilates are precision and breath. And of course, mindfulness and feeling the movement. So focus on, for example, right now, a circle. Take the arm up over and a little bit forward and down. Let the head hang down. Feel the stretch across the upper back. Now take the arm up and open and then twist the chest to look up at the sky. We have a little bit of sunlight today, so it's a little wintry out there, but the sunlight, that always feels good. Push off the floor, inhale all the way up. Exhale, extend up and back. Inhale up, twist to one side, let the arms down. So for a moment, close your eyes. And let the breath now restore possibility. My yoga and Pilates practices, these mind-body practices, I always feel better. I always feel like my faith in life, in prana, and the uplifting spirit of being is restored. Do 2 breaths to pull the belly in more. Exhale, squeeze in. Exhale, squeeze in. Then open your eyes, come back to center. Inhale, stretch up, turn in the opposite direction. Lower your eyelids down, soften the shoulders down. Restore that memory. That memory's in your body. You've been through a lot in your life. Exhale and pull the belly inward, upward. We're just practicing. This is just a practice. So nothing here has to be perfect. One more time. When you exhale, squeeze the belly, then open your eyes. Come back and around. Let's roll down to the floor. Now, if you have that ball, feel free to almost at any time bring the ball or a block in between your knees to give it a little extra connection to the pelvic floor muscles. So once you come all the way down, squeeze the abdominals, squeeze the lower bellies from the pubic bone to about the navel or the waistband. I want you to picture that another swath, another band of muscles, and squeeze down into it. Squeeze the knees together. If you have the ball or a block, that helps. Press the hands down and lift the hips up into a bridge. Let's do a little awareness exercise. Notice that the front body and the back body, they're opposing muscles. When you contract the front body, the body kind of goes down. When you contract the back body, the body kind of goes up. Then hold a neutral space. So both the front of the body, that includes the leg muscles, the hip muscles, and the abdominal muscles, and then the back, that they're equally squeezing, creating a lengthening action. This is pure yoga. That when you contract evenly and equally throughout, what you wind up doing is opening up a longer space And in yoga, the whole purpose of that is to meditate. Let's come down. Lift the legs up and stack the knees. If you have the ball, keep the ball there. You might as well get the extra. Leave the head and the neck and the shoulders down, but then stretch the arms out next to the thighs with the palms facing down. Now, keeping the shoulder blades steady on the floor, just slowly pump the arms down and up, maybe about 5 or 6 inches, not as big as you might think. But focus with your eyes closed on keeping the shoulder blades steady. Now, to do that, part of the powerhouse, remember the powerhouse are all the muscles wrapping around, crisscrossing, and at diagonals around the waist and the ribs. They have to contract to create an anchor. Now that you've got these arms aren't really that consequential. They're just creating like the rhythm. If you're like me, I don't have good rhythm, so go at the pace that you're doing because you are probably right. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Now inhale in little 5 sniffs. And then 5 blows through the mouth. And then a little bit faster. Sniff, 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 blow, 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 blow. Keep going. Now notice that the belly percussively bounces down, 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 down on the exhale. So it's sniff, blow, sniff, blow, sniff, blow. One more. All right, bring the legs down, take that ball out. Let the knees fall open. Lift the arms overhead and arch the spine. So that was one of the guiding principles of Pilates, and that is that you are controlling the powerhouse with your breath. So even if I wasn't here conducting the music of your breath and telling you to feel the rhythm, just by trying to use your breath to move a muscle, you've made that connection. So that hopefully when you're in tense times, you don't continue to hold your breath and deprive your muscle of important nutrients. Bring the feet to the floor. I want to try that kind of again. This time, not as confusing, not so much going on. Leave everything down on the floor. Just focus on inhale. When you exhale, do 3 of those percussive breaths. Inhale. Exhale, 3 percussive breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Now practice bouncing your belly. Almost like a cough or a laugh. Now when you inhale, don't let your belly rise, just the chest. But bounce the belly 3 times on the exhale. Chest, belly, chest, belly, chest, belly. 2 more times. Feel the work. Last time. Now let's practice stability. So these are guiding principles of Pilates. If you have the ball, use the ball and put it under one foot. If you don't have the ball, it's almost kind of better in a way, because then you won't take the chance of using the ball as like a prop so that you don't have to think. So imagine a big band of steel around your waist. And so whatever the distance between your hips and your ribs are, that stays the same uniformly, no matter what happens with this leg and this ball. So here we go, circus performers. All we're going to do is slide the leg out and in. Now, if you have the ball is going to help you measure and keep the foot a uniform distance away from the floor the whole way. We're not doing anything with the ball or the leg except sort of confusing the stillness of the abdominals. Remember, a band of muscles around the waist that soaks in and causes digestion. There's a good word. We need the abdominals to aid in digestion. We need the abdominals to move, but also to hold So as your arm or your leg is going out and in, you're squeezing the abdominals to keep the spine uniformly holding. Now, the guiding or the overall arching goal of Pilates is uniform balanced development of muscles and the movement of the muscles. Now, let's add in that breath. Somebody's saying, oh no, Arthur Murray. So inhale as your leg goes out. When you exhale, those 3 breaths in and pump the heel to the glute. So inhale out, exhale 3, 2, 1. Remember the belly? Two more. Oh no, my balls rolled away. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Don't let the belly get big. Exhale, exhale, exhale. All right, switch. Did you hear that last thing I said? Don't let the belly get big. Just slide. That's the overarching principle for my personal goal here, to not let the belly get any bigger. Remember the purpose of this exercise of the leg rollout is to train the mind and the breath to hold the muscle, the powerhouse. The powerhouse includes kind of digestive power. In other words, it transforms matter, the form of mostly food, also water and air, into energy that you use to do things like clean your house, go for a walk, squeeze the lowers. I don't know what to call this area between the pubic bone and the band of the pants. Squeeze that so that it pulls down and in. Here we go. Inhale out. Exhale 3, 2, 1 as you pulse in. Don't let the low back arch away. Almost think about pushing the low back into the floor, because it's easy to forget that the low back can move because you're probably focused on the leg and the breath right now. 2 more. And release. Let's kind of kick that ball out of the way for a second. Hug the knees in. Rock and roll around. Close your eyes and go into a space. At first, we start out in a place that's foggy and confused, right? When you first turned on this show, you went, what am I going to do today? I just know that no matter what happens, 45 minutes later, I'm going to feel better. And I know that I have the ability to modify and change whatever I feel like is happening that's not quite right to feel better. Take 2 deep breaths, rock and roll around. So 2 options to come up. One is to roll to your side and push off the floor. Another is to hold the back of the legs round the back and then roll all the way up. Picture clothing. Let's take the legs about mat width apart, maybe just a little bit more. But here's the important part, everyone. The back of the legs have to really press down. Again, this is the same concept of the anchoring that we did when we were laying on the floor, except now it's the legs. So I usually reach back, take the glutes out of the way so I can feel the hip bones drive into the floor. Then push and almost drag the heel bones back. Let's inhale and stretch up. Exhale, extend back. Inhale up, twist to one side and let the arms down. Now let the head rock side to side, so ear to ear. And feel any tension melt away. It's almost like it's dripping down your ears and down the sides of your neck and then off the shoulders, like it's rolling off. Bring the head back to center and gently twist your head around. Gently, gently, gently. I always see people try to twist their head too far. We don't really turn our head that often. We only turn it a couple of inches at most. Bring the head back to center and then turn the whole body back into center. Inhale and stretch up. Exhale, extend back. Raise the abdominals, uplift the spine. Inhale, come back up. Turn in the opposite direction, let the arms down. Hold the same little routine. Head goes ear to ear, tick-tock. The head side to side. Raise the sides of the waist. Breathe in, breathe out. Now bring your head to center. Now turn. your head around. Remember, only a couple of inches. Try to focus on keeping the crown of the head level. So don't dip the chin down and up. Bring the head back to center. Now turn the whole body back to center. Inhale and circle up again. This time extend up and back. Inhale, back up. Exhale to your forward fold. So hold on to your legs, your knees, your pant leg, your toes, whatever you've got there. And rock the pelvis forward. Then drape the head downward. When your head is down, now only an inch, turn your head a little to one side, only an inch, turn your head a little to the other side. Now sweep your face side to side, but focus on the muscles of the back of the neck. So if you have to bobble your head a little up and down so that you feel those muscles. In Pilates, there's an expression, feel the work. In yoga, we're already meditative. We're already bringing the mind into a place that feels refreshing. So I'm going to say, drink the waters of the breath and let them refresh you, just like the ocean waves come in and refresh the shore. We stir up, let the head hang. Come up an inch, so kind of unwind and hold there. Now just vigorously press the back of the legs into the floor. Then use the pressure of your legs pushing into the floor to squeeze, remember the lower thing, from the pubic bone to the navel, squeeze that lower band of muscles. Most of us, when we think of abs, when I say, hey, I want good looking abs or I want to work my abs, we think of kind of the upper band, and they're not separate things. It's just that fashion shows off the upper part a little bit better than the lower part, so we only think of that as our abs, but it's all one kind of big abdominal system. Now push off with your hands and roll all the way up. Let's try a little bit of that boat pose. If you have the block, the ball, or something else, like even a foam roller would work, put that between the knees. So we're going to try our boat pose and then alternate that with tabletop pose. In fact, I'm going to make this really almost an energetic exercise. Are you ready? Strengthen the spine, hold on to something, hold on to your knees or your thighs so that you can sort of push the tailbone down and then rise up through the spine, but then take your chin and your head a little bit forward so there's no pressure on the neck. Now squeeze, if you have a ball or something between your knees, squeeze that together and squeeze the pelvic floor muscles. Squeeze inward and upward. Now, kind of wind backwards. Spine stays straight. You're just kind of like a gate going back. Hold. Hold. Now, if you can lift both legs, it's hard to lift one leg if you got something you're holding on to. Try lifting the arms up sort of overhead. By now you're wobbling. Now it's this dance of the wobble and the bobble and the I'm going to fall over. That's the whole point. That's where the abs or the powerhouse is learning how to be strong. So the whole purpose of today is to remember the strength of the powerhouse. Come back up. Walk your feet in under your knees. That's hard to do. Walk your hands back under your shoulders and try lifting up. If you want to ditch the ball, you can do that. Give this another breath. When you exhale or like pumping the abdominals, come back down. Find the sits bones, find the tailbone, find that little, place of holding, recline, rise up, maybe stretch the arms overhead, squeeze the legs together, find that lower from the pubic bone to the navel and squeeze it in. Come back down, bring the feet and the hands to the floor. Remember, they stack right under the joints that are next in line, which would be the knees and the shoulders, and rise up into tabletop. You're doing great. I see you. I love it. Come back down. Try to keep the chin close. I sort of threw my head back there. Rise up into Navas, our boat pose. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Hear the sound of your breath and as it moves. One more time, feet to the floor, hands behind you. Push and lift up. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Squeeze the abdominals. You have to squeeze the glutes here Don't over squeeze the glutes. Come back down. Let's take the ball out. So let's try this. I want you to be careful with this one. I'm going to face you so you can see me. I'm bringing both legs to one side. And I'm going to tell you how to do that. Just try. Now, if one of or both of your knees, it's not working, then leave one leg straight. That's absolute possibility. But this leg, the one that's bent, with the leg on the other, that's the one I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to ignore this other leg for a moment. I have a ball. The ball is there. If you have a ball, try this. Lean a bit out and in. Now, here's the deal. I'm not putting any pressure on the ball when I do this. But I'm not. So if you don't have the ball, kind of crawl your hand back out and in. I want just the suggestion that there's some support there, but don't lean and push down. Please don't do that. You absolutely can hurt or even tear a rotator cuff muscle if you do that. So don't put any pressure. There's just a suggestion of fluidity here. I'm going to take this leg out because I'm feeling that cramp because there's really not part of the exercise. Now, if you can, I know this is already hard. I see you sort of struggling. Exhale and squeeze the belly. Inhale to come up. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, squeeze up. Exhale, I notice I'm saying squeeze in both. Remember, we're trying to develop a really strong powerhouse that reminds us of the memory of possibility. We're removing all that doubt, all that self-loathing. There's a little bit of that time of year where, the bathroom scale needs to kind of go away and let us do our thing. We'll get back. I promise you, it's in there. It'll come back. So we're trying to find that memory. And then come all the way back. Let's leave the legs, wherever you have your legs, just leave them in that configuration. Stretch the arms out, spin the arm bones open. Inhale. Exhale, twist now to the other leg. Inhale back. Exhale, lean over. This is that bent knee side. Inhale back up. Exhale, twist away. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist over. Inhale, back up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, over. Inhale, up. All right, I think I'll just leave you to it here, because I don't want the choreography to get so complicated that you think, what am I doing? I don't know my right foot from my left foot here. What I do want you to focus on is feeling how the breath is guiding the powerhouse, the abdominal muscles responsible for moving the spine. So my arms really aren't doing anything here. I can do jazz hands if I want. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that my spine is moving in a few directions, and it's being guided by precision, the fundamental of flow and precision. Two more. There's a lot of work going on here. I see you working hard. Your arms are even getting tired. And one. All right, you know the rule. It's time to switch legs. I can only do 2, at most 3 exercises in one position, because if I don't do the other side, you write into my manager. I don't need that. I'm a one-man show here. Every single thing that happens, it's me. What did we do first? No, I'm forgetting. Inhale, exhale, lean. Remember, your hand is crawling out along the floor. If you don't have the ball, that's okay. Trust me, if you don't have the ball, it's almost the same thing. The ball makes it just a little bit easier. It's kind of just a guide. All right, add in the exhale, squeeze. Inhale, squeeze. Let's see, can I inhale on the way out? Exhale on the way back. Yeah, that's a little better. Inhale on the way out. Exhale on the way in. You look great. Don't put any pressure on this shoulder. I can't really warn you about that enough. I think of all the things that might be dangerous, probably headstand would be the top of the thing. Since we never do that, this might be the number 2 thing that could be dangerous. In fact, many of you who have been with me for years know I almost rarely do this exercise. Not because somebody got hurt, because enough people complained that it still hurts my shoulder. All right, are you ready? No, we have a couple more of these. I had another idea, but I didn't do it. So we have to do a couple more of these because I didn't do it. Notice that there's action, right? Obviously, I'm leaning over, leaning back. Well, is my hip coming up and off the floor? A little bit, but my abs are controlling that too. Notice that there's action, but there's also some stillness, kind of like this sideways. All right, let's come up. All right, did I use the ball for this? No, I didn't, right? The arms went out. This is right. Inhale, grow up tall. Exhale, twist away. Inhale to center. Exhale, lean over. Now you can make this harder. Please, Candace, tell us how. Can I make this harder? That's what I came here for. By not putting this bottom arm down. What? Try it. Don't put the bottom arm down. All right, that hurts the side hip. For me, that's a little bit tweaky. I'm going to leave that leg stretched out. It's still really good work. There's wisdom in there. And all we're doing is waking up that wisdom. Your body already knows how to move. I didn't invent this. Joseph Pilates didn't invent this. Even the ancient yogis didn't invent this. This is in our bodies already. Notice that there's stillness. The body moves, and the mind is directing it. 2 more times. When you exhale, what happens? All together now. The abdominals go in. Last one. That's it. That's it. That's it. Wow. It must be time. I hope that was it. To come around to child's pose and to stretch the hip and back. So child's pose. Push the hips back. Rest the head down. All right. Now I want you to continue breathing. Exhale, but this time through your nose. Exhale through your nose. Inhale, exhale. The first thing is hear the breath. No matter how soft it is, hear the ocean wave, the steam, the movement of air particles. We actually exhale a big amount of oxygen. So it wouldn't be wrong for me to say inhale oxygen, exhale oxygen, but whatever it is, air. Now for a split second, when you inhale, stop, and then exhale. So there's a natural inhale, an inflating, an organic intake, but then stop, artificially stop the breath, and then exhale. Inhale. When you stop the breath, in your mind, visualize the air going into the body, then exhale. By into the body, I mean from the lungs, picked up by the circulatory system, and circulated around the body. And then when you exhale, feel relief, a sigh, a sound, the feeling of a hug, somebody just putting their hand on your shoulder, saying it's going to be okay. Maybe you inhale, okay. Exhale, it's going to be okay. So now manage the transition from the inhale to the exhale, giving space and time for energy, oxygen to transform from the stuff that was outside, oxygen and stuff, to the life that it becomes inside of you. So imagine that your body is a wireless energy system. Imagine that you take in air and that's what fuels you. So you take in air, you stop, your body magically sparkles it into light. And then when you exhale, that light diffuses through your body, lighting the way to feel better. So that you can find the memories of strength and possibility hidden deep inside. 2 breaths. And then when you're ready, come up and into hands and knees. All right, hands and knees. Remember the joints, they support each other. Spread the fingers out, little duck hands. Pull the belly in and up. Now, I want you to imagine that you're going to come up into cat pose. You all remember that. But don't move. Imagine that there's a board or some heavy weight, and you're trying to lift. Like if, let's say, and I've done this, don't tell anybody. I want to lift like a heavy table or something, and I can't lift with my arms, so I get under it and I push it up with my back. Don't tell anybody because I have really strong legs. But don't actually move. Just feel an isometric contraction around the abdominals that creates enough strength and power to lift the back up against some really heavy stuff. Hey, if you're like me, and I know you are, you've been lifting some really heavy stuff. Emotional stuff has been about 10,000 pounds lately. Now begin to feel the crawl of abdominal muscles moving from the outside towards the inside. So even if you have to move a little, go ahead, move a little so that you can feel the movement of muscles beginning to contract. So more and more feel kind of the pulsation, the vibrancy of life in the center of your belly. Now just hold, so no more moving, I guess. Still the pelvis and extend one leg back. Wow. Hold that there and point and flex at the ankle. Drop this hip that you just lifted the leg of so that it's not up. Any grammarians out there, I apologize for saying what I just said. Hold the foot just normal, whatever that is. Bend at the knee, hold. Now imagine the number 8 and try to paint a number 8. Now I don't care whether your 8 is going down, up and back, or out and down and back, whatever. Wherever your 8 is, and somebody's going to write in and say, well, Candace, if it's on its side, it's an infinity symbol. Okay. Whatever you need is fine with me. But the fundamental principle of Pilates is stillness and action to create balance across all the body, but especially the musculoskeletal system. Do you remember the belly we were just working on? Remember we were squeezing it and that was the whole point? Do that now. Forget the 8. Either stop doing it or just put that on autopilot and squeeze the belly. And remember you were trying to lift the back, that heavy weight up. 3 breaths worth here. Make the breath move and strengthen the power of the belly. And then bring that knee down. Swing the hips side to side. I need this. We actually work the hips a little bit, so don't let me forget to do a little hip stretch later if we don't do one now. Just let your breath be kind of normal. In fact, lean a little bit back and come off these wrists a second. Get my wrist. You could turn your hands the wrong way. Let's say you've been using your hands to do a lot of stuff lately. You might want to turn your hands down to stretch the back of the wrist. Let's say you work on a computer with a mouse all the time. And then come back. So fingertips down, abs brace in, recall the memory of that lifting thing we did a second ago, squeeze in and hold, extend the opposite leg, hold, point and flex at the ankle. So now back to that breath, inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, sucking the belly upward. Exhale, leave the foot alone, let it relax, sort of. Bend at the knee and hold. Drop this hip down just a little bit. Just don't twist it open. So take a little level. Make sure the hips, have your friend help you, that your hips are actually level. Here we go. Figure 8 the knee. And then incorporate the breath. Notice that what we're doing is we're lengthening the spine. So there's no crunching. There's very little concept of crunching in yoga and lattes. Everything is about lengthening. That's why people think that yoga and Pilates are stretching. They're not. They're about returning your body to balance and your mind so that you can let go of the negative stuff that you've accumulated through life and living. Remember, low back feels almost like it's pushing up. Low back feels as if it's pushing up, like there's a little weight there. A little 8-pound Phineas weight. I'd never put Phineas up on my back. Even that's not safe. Squeeze the abdominals, 3 more. How much are you leaning right now? Like, nobody wants to lean, right? We want to be middle of the road, right? So don't lean. Last breath. And come down. Then come all the way down to the belly. Wow. Okay. I still have to save a little bit of time to stretch those hips. Let's try this. Take the knees wide. Bend the knees and see if the heels can find each other. Now squeeze the heels and release. Squeeze the heels. Now you can do this with a ball, but certain, practical problems here, like how do I get the ball all the way back there? And, it can be done, but it's not really worth it. So we're squeezing, releasing, squeezing, releasing. Keep your head down. I know you want to look at me. Everybody does. Squeeze, then lift the legs, and then release. Squeeze and lift the legs. You can guess the breath by now. It's inhale when the legs are down. Exhale, squeeze and lift as you lift and exhale. Exhale, lift and squeeze. Notice the image here is the same image that we have when we're doing our kind of bringing energy from the base of the pelvis inward, upward. Everything kind of moves like a geyser. Everything kind of comes together and creates force to push up. Squeeze the lowers. Remember what I talked about between the pubic bone and the navel? I'm calling it like the lowers abdominals. Do 3 more. Squeeze. Blow out. Squeeze, hold, lift up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Bring your hands next to your chest. Kind of push a little bit. Lift the chest and the head a little bit. Try to lift the arms off the floor. The upper body, turn it a little right and left. So just imagine that you're flying through the air like on a parachute. For most of us, if you're like me, that's just something you would imagine. It would never, ever happen. 3, 2, focus on the breath. And 1, oh, release down. Safely make your way onto your back. I know you're going to write me letters about today's class, aren't you? I can just see it now. Oh, what was that last thing with the parachute? I didn't get that at all. It always happens. People do write me and they go, the thing you did where you put your foot behind your head, all we're going to do is cross one ankle over and bring in. All right, once you get there, take 3 breaths to get there. So it's inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. That's 3. So now that you're here, lovingly hug this knee and draw it at a diagonal off to the other shoulder. Lovingly. Keep your breath. Now your breath is only through your nose, if you can. And it's a long circle. It's inhale up and around. And exhale down and around. So it's a circle of rising and falling. Just like nature, just like this cycle. The earth turns, the sun comes up and goes down. 2 more of these cycles. So now the breath becomes the mind vehicle. And then release. Try switching to the other leg. So it's going to take you, at least 3 breaths just to get here. Inhale. Exhale. It's like you're feeling level 1 of a stretch in your gluteals. Inhale. As you exhale, it doesn't mean you have to pull harder. You're just feeling more because your mind is taking its journey down into the space that you're creating the release of tension. So this is the 3rd breath. After this breath, use your arms to lovingly hug this knee and draw it a little bit across, maybe 2 or 3 inches, and then down towards this opposing shoulder. Down. Doesn't have to come in towards your head more. That's not really necessary, but straight down. Now use that cyclical breath to relax your shoulders. So if you really were hugging someone, you might use a lot of energy because you may be trying to convey, or you feel something. That's okay. But for this hug, this is like an effortless, loving kindness. Like when I'm not putting up my wall, my defenses, and ready for conflict, there's just love. It's already there. I don't have to say, I want to have to love something. I just do. 2 breaths. So soften as you breathe out. And then move all the way out into Shavasana. Let your muscles sink. Let your muscles soften away from the bone. Now let the bones get heavy. And let your mind rest wherever it is. For a moment, notice the powerhouse. Powerhouse, I talked about them being muscles that create stability and mobility and protection and digestion. But right now, the powerhouse is the seat of all of your strength. That no matter what happens, no matter how hard these times may seem for you, you will rise up. You have an inner strength, a quiet but powerful stillness. Deep inside of you is the seed of all the important work you need to do. And inside of this seed, there is intelligence and wisdom that goes beyond your years. There's a fundamental resonance and rhythm that connects you to nature. As the water flows, as the clouds drift, so too your body returns itself to an equilibrium and a harmony. Now, as you soften your front body and it softens back towards the back, feel any discomfort evaporate and rise up and rise up. So what's left is pure strength and wisdom imprinted deep. Every cell of your body has the wisdom. And now let it flow. As it flows, more of discomfort rises up and you become light. You become unheavy and bright. You become light, lighter and lighter. Now begin to tune in to the rhythm of your breath. It doesn't have to be slow, just rhythmic. Let the body now receive the breath everywhere, transforming you back to the strength that you are. Slowly begin to roll to your side. Open your eyes, push up, come back up, recross your legs the other way. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, extend back. This is it. Inhale, reach up with joy and happiness. Exhale, you're all done. Thank you so much. Good work today, everyone.